Hey friends, it's Brooke. Oh God, I feel really rusty. Today is a very exciting day. It is February 1st, 2026. And the reason it's an exciting day is because I will be casting on my Eurus sweater, finally. I have been eagerly waiting to cast this sweater on. I've had the yarn for it for over a year, but it's one of those projects that for some reason, no matter how much I want to knit it, it just kind of kept getting pushed to the back burner last year. So it's finally time to knit it. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Eurus sweater, this is an Aran weight sweater designed by Aegyoknit. And I am planning on knitting this in Cascade 220, which is also Aran weight. And this is in the color 8401, which I think is like gray heather or light gray or something. But I'm really, really, really excited to knit this sweater. I think it will be a great throw-on sweater. But again, it has one of the colors that's in my palette. It's highlighting kind of my my desire to have interesting cuts in my wardrobe. Specifically this one, it will be going, you know, the cables kind of run from wrist to wrist, which will allow me to really highlight the length of my arms. And I just think it will be a fun, more elevated throw-on sweater for me to wear in the winter. So that's the big exciting update for today. And I realized I got so excited to talk about this new sweater that I didn't even introduce myself or really introduce the channel. So for those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Brooke. Welcome to Pippa & Co. And today's video is going to be a project vlog for the Eurus sweater. I took a minute to read through the pattern a little bit, and as was expected, I start with the ribbing around one of the sleeves. I'm not sure which one. And fun fact about me, I don't typically knit gauge swatches. I kind of just modify based on how my gauge is looking. Eek! That's embarrassing. I hate the idea. That's a problem. I hate the idea of knitting a gauge swatch and then I don't know, it feels like I would want to rip it out. I'm not someone who saves gauge swatches or puts them on a wall. I think that's a beautiful thing to do, but I just don't do that. So part of me is like, I wonder if I just start knitting the cuff and then I measure the cuff, if that might be a good place to start. And I tend to always size up on needles because I'm a very tight knitter. So I tend to whip out my ChiaoGoo bamboo needle set. And you're supposed to cast on with 3 and then 6 millimeters. Oh, dang. Use big needles on this. I've never used my US 10s. I don't think. I'm someone who tends to only knit on the smaller side of the ChiaoGoo package, which is why so many of my needles are missing. Like this sweater, I will need my big needles. Okay, that's exciting. I might just give it a whirl. Is that smart? Probably not. And because I've never used needles, oh, that's okay. The needles I held up were a size 11. It's closer to this size. I'm gonna have to find my actual size 6. So not as big, but still quite large. So maybe I cast on, because I don't know where my 3.5 millimeters are. So maybe I'll cast on with my 3.75s for the ribbing and just keep an eye on how that's looking. I might regret this. Okay, let's go. Hi friends, it is now February 13th. Whoa, wait, is that real? It's Friday the 13th? That's kind of crazy. I am checking in with you before work. And so I figured I would just hop on and talk to you about the current status of my Eurus sweater. Let's address the elephant in the room. I donated my hair, so she is now short. This is actually my preferred hair length. But I was growing it out to donate, so it is it is finally the length that I typically like it. You should have just seen a bunch of clips from my weekend trip to New York City to celebrate my birthday with my friends from college and grad school, which was very lovely. I had a great time with them. And now I'm back and in the full swing of work and trying to be social in my free time and knitting. So let's chat. So as you can see, I've finished the entire first sleeve and I have split and started knitting. Okay, this is the front of the body and this is the back of the body. What to say about it? I ended up knitting the sleeve to be, okay, here's how to explain it. The sleeve is meant to be, for the size I'm trying to knit, 42 centimeters long before you split for the body, because it's like kind of mimicking a drop shoulder situation. And then the distance from where the drop shoulder starts and where the neckline starts is meant to be 22 centimeters. And everywhere that I was looking online said that that created like an extremely oversized boxy fit because there's so much width in the body. And that's something that I know that I prefer more length to a piece than boxiness. And so I decided to extend the sleeve. Basically, I decided to take 7 centimeters of that 22 centimeters for the shoulder. So now I'm aiming for 15 centimeters from where the body got cast on here to when I start making the neckline. And I gave that 7 centimeters to the sleeve. So I knit the sleeve to be 49 centimeters, and now we'll be knitting this part of the body to be, before the neckline, to be 15 centimeters so that it all kind of comes out in the wash. And part of the reason I did that as well is, like, as we've talked about, I'm a long-armed gal. And so even with the added, so like, just to kind of try it on. Whoa, sorry. I have my pet hedgehog out. And that is why I keep looking over. She is being a bit of a menace at the moment. This is Stormy. She is not the namesake of my YouTube channel. We'll call her older sister who has passed away. Pippa is the namesake of the YouTube channel, but now I have Stormy. She's a good hog. She's a good hog, but she's very young, so she gets into trouble. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, but even with the added centimeters, the current length is quite short, but I'm anticipating I still have a lot to go before I go split for the neck. So I'm anticipating it will kind of all grow, relax, and that I have more space. But that's all on the structure. I have had so much fun knitting this. It is so easy to memorize this cable pattern, so I don't even have to look at the pattern anymore. It was extremely confusing splitting for the body. And I've heard that with this pattern when I was reading like the Ravelry to prep. I knew it was going to be a pain in the butt. But it definitely is. It was a pain to split. I kind of ended up just being like, I can conceptualize what needs to happen right now. The directions aren't making any sense. So I'm just going to do what makes sense to me. And so that's exactly what I did. I can't say I followed the directions well for this split, but it worked. So that's okay. Anyways, yeah, so that's my check-in. I'm feeling really happy with her. I'm very excited to have a gray sweater.
And it was fun to get to work on her this past weekend when I was surrounded by so many people I loved. You know, I get a little sentimental, like all the memories that are just in this one sweater. So I'll keep working on her and I'll check in the next time I'm able. Bye. Hi friends, wanted to give you a quick update. I have gotten so much done on this sweater at work recently, and so I figured it was time to give you an update. The last clips that you saw were likely all from my weekend in New Haven, visiting my partner, Mr. Pip. We had a really good time. I was unexpectedly stuck there because of some major snow that we had in the Northeast. And so I was really lucky and got to spend some extra time with him. We celebrated our 7th anniversary. We got to go to a really nice dinner, which was so special. So got a lot of knitting done there and on the trains to and from there. And then since getting back, have gotten quite a lot of knitting done at work actually, and just, you know, on my own time. Today is March 7th, and so we're getting, I guess that means I've been working on this for more than a month at this point. I'm really happy with my progress, so I thought I would just give you a brief update. So I have finished, this is the back, I finished the whole back body, the whole front body, and now the 2 sides are connected in the left sleeve. As you can see, the body itself is quite short, but it does look like with blocking that will grow so beautifully. I have not tried her on yet, and I simply cannot bring myself to try it on right now for you. I apologize. But I have been really, really, really loving knitting this. I think I've said this before, and it's funny because all of the reviews that I read seem to suggest that this was not the most fun thing to knit. I'm thriving. I'm absolutely loving it. It was kind of annoying figuring out how to repeat the same now, like like binding off instead of casting on, to make this side the same as the side that you initially casted on. So, you know, you do the whole sleeve, then you cast on for the body, and then you do the whole body, and then you cast off. And so it was hard to really get that to be mirrored, but I think I did a good job. And sadly, I was like, I feel like a good like third of the way done with the sleeve, and then I realized I had missed a few stitches, because I was like, why does this sleeve not look the same? And I realized it was because I forgot a few pearl stitches in between some cables when I restarted the sleeve. So kind of back at the beginning of the left sleeve, but that's okay because I'm thriving and it's so fun to knit. So just, you know, now puttering away on this sleeve, then I think I'll go back at that time, seam up the body. I'm thinking I'm going to try to do, not that I crochet, but I think I'm going to try to crochet it closed so that the seam has some stretch to it, because I do think this is going to grow so much with blocking that I don't want to inhibit that with just a more like sewn together. Once I have closed up the sides, then I'll go back and add ribbing to the bottom. I think I want it to be a split hem, and I've been imagining making the split hem overlap with each other so you don't get that like weird gapping at a split hem. That kind of like then goes up the side of the sweater, if you know what I mean. So, but we'll see. I'll probably tinker with that. And then at that point, once I have a good idea of everything, then I'll go back and do the neckline. I'm not 100% sure of what I'm going to do for this neckline. Number one, it's like very boat necky right now, just given the way that things are casted on and casted off. And it is meant to have a mock neck. I have a very love-hate relationship with turtlenecks, mock necks, anything, just because of the proportions of my body. They're just not the most comfortable or the most flattering to me. And so I'm thinking I don't want to do a mock neck. I'm thinking I just wanted to do a regular like 2x2 ribbed neckline. Probably not folded over, probably just one round of 2x2 rib. But I don't know how that's going to look, considering the neckline itself is kind of more long than it is round. So I have a feeling I'll end up casting it on and giving it a go and then seeing what it looks like. And then I can always tinker with that a little bit and decide what I think will be the best neckline. So that's all for this update. I'm obsessed with her. Oh, like looking at the stitch definition on the camera and the way the cables look makes me love her even more. She's really beautiful. This is such a special pattern, and I'm so excited to keep working on her. I will check in with you guys again soon. Bye. Hi friends. Okay, quick update before I go work out. We have made some good progress on her. I have officially seamed up both of the sides. I used crochet to like crochet the sides closed. This side, the side that was the cast off end of the body is, oh, I guess, no, this is the cast on end. Here we go. This side, which is the casted off end of the body, is a lot neater because I cast it off, and my cast off stitches seem to be neater than my cast on, specifically because the cast on stitches were with a backward loop, and those just are always a mess to me. So you can see this is the cast on end. It's a little bit less beautiful, but it did the job well and seems like it maintained some of the stretchiness on the side. And now I'm working on the neckline. I picked up stitches. I ended up deciding to just do a round neckline, and the sweater seems to be kind of morphing to fit that quite well. So hopefully that's a good choice. I think I'm gonna go a little bit more. I'm not gonna make it like a mock neck. I'm just gonna do a round neck. So I'll probably try this on at some point and see how much farther I need to go. But here you can see the comparison of how far I've gone with the ribbing of the cuff, and I feel like I would like it to be in some way somewhat proportional to how thick the ribbing on the cuff and what I anticipate the ribbing on the bottom of the sweater will be. So yeah, so that's my quick update. I'm gonna go work out now, and then I will work on her when I'm done. Bye. All right, friends, wanted to update you that the sweater is officially done. I finished her the other evening after work, and I didn't film because I was exhausted that day, but she is all done. So it's just time to weave in some ends and then block her. Okay, friends, I'm coming at you live with the first try on of my finished blocked Eurus sweater. I am obsessed with her. This is by far the project that has been the most fun to knit that I've ever made. The project that I think has turned out the most like visually striking. I'm just really proud. So without further ado, here she is. This is her. I am obsessed. What is there even to say? I love how the sleeve's blocked out. I love a straight sleeve. I think the cables came out so neat. I can't even believe it. And I love the way that this yarn blocks in a cabled piece, because the last time I knit with Cascade 220 was for my, shoot, what sweater was that? It's a petite knit sweater all in stockinette. And I do love that sweater a lot, but the yarn likes to kind of stick to itself, almost like felt a little bit. And I found in that sweater it looked a little messy, but in this sweater, I think it gives the cables definition when, like, you know, this upper part is kind of felting a little bit and then the lower part isn't. I'm not explaining it well. If you've knit with Cascade 220, I'm sure you know what I mean. I am simply in awe. You can't tell, I'm really proud of myself. I thank you so much for joining me as I knit this project. I feel like so much life has happened as I've been working on her. And I'm really proud of this project, and I'm really proud of this as my first project vlog. So Okay, friends. Bye.